Hi everyone, welcome back to Bible in a Year. My name is Natalie and today we're on day 153. I'm so glad that you're here today and I hope that you are doing fantastic. We are going to be reading out of Deuteronomy chapter 11, Isaiah chapter 40, but we're only reading verses 1 through 14 today. We are going to be finishing the book of Matthew by reading Matthew chapter 28. And then we're going to close out the day with Psalm chapter 89 and only reading verses 38 through 45. So, busy day. Let's get started with Deuteronomy chapter 11. Here we go. Therefore, you shall love Yahweh your God and keep his instructions, his statutes, his ordinances, and his commandments always. Know this day, for I don't speak with your children who have not known, and who have not seen the chastisement of Yahweh your God, his greatness, his mighty hand, his outstretched arm, his signs and his works, which he did in the middle of Egypt to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and to all his land, and what he did to the army of Egypt, to their horses and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued you, and how Yahweh has destroyed them to this day, and what he did to you in the wilderness until you came to this place, and to what he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the son of Reuben, how the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up, with their households, their tents, and every living thing that followed them in the middle of all Israel. But your eyes have seen all of Yahweh's great works which he did. Therefore, you shall keep the entire commandment which I command you today, that you may be strong and go in and possess the land that you go over to possess, and that you may prolong your days in the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers, to give to them and to their offspring a land flowing with milk and honey. For the land which you go in to possess isn't like the land of Egypt that you came out of, where you sowed your seed and watered it with your foot as a garden of herbs. But the land that you go over to possess is a land of hills and valleys, which drinks water from the rain of the sky, a land which Yahweh your God cares for. Yahweh your God's eyes are always on it, from the beginning of the year even to the end of the year. It shall happen, if you shall listen diligently to my commandments, which I command you today, to love Yahweh your God and to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give the rain for your land in its season, the early rain and the latter rain, that you may gather in your grain, your new wine, and your oil. I will give grass in your fields for your livestock, and you shall eat and be full. Be careful, lest your heart be deceived, and you turn away to serve other gods and worship them, and Yahweh's anger be kindled against you, and he shut up the sky so that there is no rain, and the land doesn't yield its fruit, and you perish quickly from off the good land which Yahweh gives you. Therefore you shall lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. You shall bind them for a sign on your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. You shall teach them to your children, talking of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, that your days and your children's days may be multiplied in the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers to give them, as the days of the heavens above the earth. For if you shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you, to do them, to love Yahweh your God, and to walk in all his ways and to cling to him, Then Yahweh will drive out all these nations from before you, and you shall dispossess nations greater and mightier than yourselves. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads shall be yours, from the wilderness and Lebanon, from the river Euphrates, even to the western sea shall be your border. No man will be able to stand before you. Yahweh your God will lay the fear of you and the dread of you on the land that you tread on, as he has spoken to you. Behold, I set before you today a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if you listen to the commandments of Yahweh your God, which I command you today, and the curse, if you do not listen to the commandments of Yahweh your God, but turn away from the way which I command you today, to go after other gods which you have not known. It shall happen when Yahweh your God brings you into the land that you go to possess, that you shall set the blessing on Mount Gerizim, and the curse on Mount Ebal. Aren't they beyond the Jordan, behind the way of the going down of the sun, in the land of the Canaanites who dwell in the Arabah near Gilgal, beside the oaks of Moreh? For you are to pass over the Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yahweh your God gives you, and you shall possess it and dwell in it. You shall observe to do all the statutes and the ordinances which I set before you today. All right, moving into Isaiah chapter 40, verses 1 through 14. Comfort, comfort my people, says your God. Speak comfortably to Jerusalem and call out to her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, that she has received of Yahweh's hand double for all her sins. The voice of one who calls out, prepare the way of Yahweh in the wilderness, make a level highway in the desert for our God. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low. The uneven shall be made level, and the rough places a plain. Yahweh's glory shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it. The voice of one saying, cry out. One said, what shall I cry? All flesh is like grass, and all its glory is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, because Yahweh's breath blows on it. Surely the people are like grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God stands forever. You who tell good news to Zion, go up on a high mountain. You who tell good news to Zion, go up on a high mountain. You who tell good news to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with strength. Lift it up, and don't be afraid. Say to the cities of Judah, behold your God. Behold, the Lord Yahweh will come as a mighty one, and his arm will rule for him. Behold, his reward is with him. He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will gather the lambs in his arm and carry them in his bosom. He will gently lead those who have their young. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and marked off the sky with his span, and calculated the dust of the earth in a measuring basket, and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance? Who has directed Yahweh's spirit, or has taught him as his counselor? Who did he take counsel with? And who instructed him, and taught him in the path of justice, and taught him in knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? We will have to finish that tomorrow. All right, Matthew. Let's finish up Matthew 28. Okay, so now, after the Sabbath, as it began to dawn on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. Behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from the sky and came and rolled away the stone from the door and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing white as snow. For fear of him, the guards shook and became like dead men. The angel answered the women, "Don't be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus, who has been crucified. He is not here, for he has risen, just like he said. Come, see the place where the Lord was lying. Go quickly and tell his disciples, he has risen from the dead, and behold, he goes before you into Galilee, and there you will see him. Behold, I have told you." They departed quickly from the tomb with fear and great joy, and ran to bring his disciples word. As they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, "Rejoice!" They came and took hold of his feet and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Don't be afraid. Go tell my brothers that they should go into Galilee, and there they will see me." Now, while they were going, behold, some of the guards came into the city and told the chief priests all the things that had happened. When they were assembled with the elders and had to take counsel, they gave a large amount of silver to the soldiers, saying, "Say that his disciples came by night and stole him while we slept. If this comes to the governor's ears, we will persuade him and make you free of worry." So they took the money and did as they were told. And this saying was spread abroad among the Jews and continues to this day. But the 11 disciples went into Galilee, to the mountain where Jesus had sent them. When they saw him, they bowed down to him, but some doubted. And Jesus came to them and spoke to them, saying, "All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all the things that I commanded you. Behold, I am with you always, even to the end of age." Amen. And that, my friends, is Jesus. All right, Psalm chapter 89, verse 38 through 45. But you have rejected and spurned. You have been angry with your anointed. You have renounced the covenant of your servant. You have defiled his crown in the dust. You have broken down all his hedges. You have brought his strongholds to ruin. All who pass by the way rob him. He has become a reproach to his neighbors, and you have exalted the right hand of his adversaries. Adversaries. Let me read that again. Verse 42. You have exalted the right hand of his adversaries. You have made all his enemies rejoice. Yes, you turned back the edge of his sword and haven't supported him in battle. You have ended his splendor and thrown his throne down to the ground. You have shortened the days of his youth, and you have covered him with shame. Yeah. I think we have all been there, for sure. So what did you think about our very last day in Matthew? I find it so comforting at the very end when he's talking to his disciples, and he says, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. And then basically, go tell everyone, baptize them, teach them to observe everything that I said, everything that is the brand new covenant. And behold, I am with you always. I just find so much comfort in those words. I hope you did too. Would you like to know what we're going to start tomorrow, since we finished Matthew? Let me see. Oh, guys, you've got to come back. Oh, boy. We are going to be starting 1 Corinthians. Oh, boy, we are coming out the gate hot. That is for certain. So, yes, please join me tomorrow, which will be day 154. Well, we will start the book of 1 Corinthians. Have a fantastic day today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.